Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to QQEvolution's webinar. My name is Liz Rodriguez, and today we'll be reviewing how to enter policies in QQEvolution. We're also going to look at how to enter various premium information, how to manually enter endorsements, how to renew a policy, and lastly, how to enter or reset your commissions. Now before we begin, I'd like to bring your attention to the right-hand side of your monitor. You should be able to see a webinar panel. Now within that panel, you'll have a section where you can type in any questions you may have during the course of this webinar. Now once I begin, I will not be able to see your questions, but I do promise that at the very end I'll set some time aside to answer some of them. All right, and lastly, if at any point during the presentation you need to leave and close out of the webinar, you will have the opportunity to complete a very short survey just to let us know what you thought of our webinar today, and if you have any suggestions on any future webinars that you'd like to see us put together. All right, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and begin. I'll just move this webinar panel out of view. And what we're going to do first is just go into our client drawer. Now, if you're entering a policy information on an existing client, what you will need to do is first search for that client by name and find it within your database. Now, if it's a brand new client, of course, you're going to, if you're at the search screen, you're going to add new client directly from here, and you'll start from the client screen and then move on to the policy screen. For the purpose of this webinar, we'll just go directly to one of our clients' account. And we have some information already in there. We have a policy in there. Now, if I wanted to add an additional brand new policy, what I can do is go directly to the policy screen and click on here on the QQEvolution ribbon. You'll see an option under policies to add new. We can just simply click on add new to add a brand new policy. And now we have a brand new screen to start off with. Okay, so what I'll do in today's webinar is I'm going to break it up into 4 sections. We'll cover the policy information section first, that's on the left-hand side. We'll move on to the premium info, and then the optional coverages here. And then we'll cover also the tabs at the bottom of the policy screen, which are the endorsement forms, commission breakdown. This is where you would reset your commissions or set commissions that you haven't set already in your utilities section. So let's begin. Under policy info, this is where you're going to enter all the information that's pertaining to the policy. So you'll start by entering the line of business. Now the line of business is very important because if you were involved in setting up your utilities defaults with the insurance companies, you would set up the commission, the agency commission, based on the line of business that this particular insurance company or a particular insurance company writes for your agency. The line of business you would select from the drop-down arrow, and let's say we'll select auto. The coverage is basically what coverage is included in this auto policy. So you could scroll down under the coverages, and let's say if this was a liability only type policy, you can choose that. If it's liability with comp only or liability with comp and collision, you can also choose that. Now, under coverages in the utility section, you could also add additional coverage types to this section that you can choose from. Okay, once you've selected that, the next area to select is the MGA or broker. So if there's an MGA or broker involved, you would select that from the drop-down arrow. Otherwise, you can simply bypass that. Now, if it's a policy that does have an MGA or broker, then just keep in mind that when this MGA or broker is selected, the commission structure for that specific MGA or broker and the company will be used. So it won't be the agency commission that's set up for that company, but it will be for that MGA or broker. The next step is the insurance company. So if we wanted to add what company this particular insured wrote his policy through, just select it there. The next section is pretty straightforward. What type of policy is this? Is it an agency bill? Is it a direct bill, paid in full, or is this a policy that's been financed through a premium finance company? You can choose that. If it is financed through a premium finance company, the next section that you would go to, if you tab over, is contract number. I can add a contract number here that pertains to this specific policy with this premium finance company. If that's not the case and it's just a regular direct bill policy, then you can go ahead and just add that information in there. Payment type is how the payment was made. Whether it was check to the finance company, check to agency, maybe it was cash. You can choose all this information directly here. If you don't want to add this information, you can simply bypass it. If you do choose a check to agency as a payment method, then you could also include the check number. So we can add a check number there. The next section, of course, is policy number. It will automatically default to a pending status until you enter that policy number. Now, if you're an agency that is downloading this information from your insurance carrier, the policy number will be pre-filled for you once that policy information is downloaded. Okay? Otherwise, you will need to enter this information manually. So let's go ahead and do that. Your binder number is the next area here that we're going to look at. In this, if you have this automatically selected in your utilities section, your defaults, to automatically generate a binder number when a policy is added, that's exactly what it's going to do. If that's not the case, then you can just simply delete it. Your binder date will always default to the date that you're adding the policy information in QQEvolution. If that is not the case and it's a different binder date, you can certainly change that. Let's change this to, let's say, November 1st. Okay? Now, once I tab over, I can also choose the type of policy or type policy period it is, whether it's annual, semi-annual, quarterly, etc. We'll leave this one, since it's an auto policy, to an annual policy. Now, the effective dates, you'll notice, changed automatically once I changed my binder date. But let's say that's not the case, that the effective dates were actually after November 1st. We bound the coverage November 1st, but that coverage that went into effect on November 16th, which is today. Then we can go ahead and just manually change that information directly on here. Once I change the effective date, you'll notice the expiration date will also change. If there is a CSR assigned to this account to maintain this account, then I can assign that CSR directly here. All right, and I can also indicate whether this is new business or maybe it's a renewal or a rewrite. Okay, once that's done, my next section is to include a policy description, and maybe I want to put in a description as far as a vehicle, white Infiniti. Okay, my policy source also is how did this client find my agency. Maybe it was a walk-in, so I can go ahead and indicate that in this section. Now, we're pretty much done with the policy information section. You can see it's pretty straightforward. Again, a lot of this information, if you're participating in carrier downloads, will automatically be downloaded for you, so you don't have to enter that information. Now, under premium info, this is the next section that we're going to look at, and this is where you're going to enter all the premium information and view all the applicable company fees or agency fees for this particular policy. So the first area we're going to look at is quoted premium, and the quoted premium is basically the premium that you quoted to the insured, which also includes any company fees, taxes that were applied automatically or that are applied automatically from the insurance company. So we can enter a premium amount here, let's say a $1,500, okay? But the next area that we're going to look at is base premium, and the base premium here is just exactly that, the pure premium of the policy, which does not include any applicable taxes or fees that the insurance company applies to that policy. So let's say out of $1,500, there were the actual base premium or the actual pure premium for this policy is $1,200. So I'm going to enter that information. Now this is very important also because your commissions are not calculated on the quoted premium. And what I mean by that is your agency commissions are not calculated on the quoted premium. They're calculated on the base premium or the pure premium. So you will need to enter that information if you're reconciling your commissions in QQEvolution. Once you do that, you could see I tab over and it will create an additional premium. Pre-fill some information. We can cancel out of this. It pre-fills a lot of this information here. Now any area that you see that is grayed out is a locked area and you cannot change this information directly here. Okay, so let's see. We have, if you look on the right hand side of the premium info section, you'll see that there's an additional premium of $264 that is due back to the insured, and that's because it's looking at this as the base premium, which is the actual premium of the policy is $1,200, but we quoted $1,500. So there's a figure that is a little bit different here. So what that does is it prompts you to look at your company fees, and this is where you're going to enter, if you don't have it already defaulting automatically into from your utility section, then what you can do is you can come in here and automatically add the company fees that are applied to this particular policy in the company fee section here, so you can zero out this information. So here I have already some information changed or added that will automatically calculate some information. Now if I need to delete this information because it does not apply to this particular policy, I can go ahead and delete that. I can also delete this. I can add any fees directly from this section. So maybe I have a couple of fees that I need to see. I need to include maybe a specific tax fee. I can change this information directly on here. Maybe there's now this, with this particular policy, this fee is different. So there's a $10 fee. I can edit this information. Maybe it's not $10 for this particular policy, it's $200. If this fee is commissionable, you can indicate that by checking this box here. Otherwise, click on OK. I can change the top fee also and say, okay, so now I want to edit that amount to $75, let's say. All right, and maybe I need to add an additional premium. Maybe there's a broker fee involved. I can add an additional premium there, or a company fee. And there you are. And that's how you would edit that information. Now, if this information is not correct, you can go back in and edit the information directly here in this section. All right. Any agency fees that are applied directly from your agency can also be added in this section. I have some that have already been created in my utilities section under agency. I have an MBR fee and I have a policy fee that I can apply. This I can automatically select in this section. I cannot add additional agency fees directly in this section. I would have to create them in the utilities section, or the administrator would need to create that in the utilities section. And this particular agency fee or anything that is applied under agency fee would not directly impact the policy premium. It would only impact, or it would only indicate on the right hand side of the screen, which is under agency fee. Right? Your premium sent, this is also a section that is set in utilities under insurance company, and this just indicates how your commissions are paid to your agency from this particular insurance company. Now, if it's set to gross, it means that your commissions are paid on a monthly basis. If it's set to not on a monthly basis, but in one payment on a monthly basis, if you're set, your commissions are set to net, it means that your commissions are paid or are paid upfront to you, so you're sending the premium to the insurance company less your commissions. So there is nothing to be reconciled. So if that is not the case, leave it at either gross or monthly. Okay. As I indicated before, anything that's grayed out in this section cannot be edited directly here. You'll be able to only edit it either in the company fee section or maybe under agency fees. On the very far right side, you'll see under optional, this is where you're going to add any optional or additional coverages that your insured purchased through your agency. So if your agency currently sells, let's say, extended warranty policies or gap insurance policies through an outside company, not specifically this insurance company, but through a different company, you can indicate whether or not this insured has purchased those. And also that is an area that can be created in, or these options can be created in utilities under the option or additional coverage section. You can also indicate there if there's what the commission amount would be. You can set a default for that. If you look further down, we have the agency fee section where it'll tell you exactly if there are any agency fees that applied to this account that were charged to this customer for this policy. All the way down, the next area that we're going to look at is the premium down payment. Now this is where you're going to record any down payment that this insured paid for this policy. So what we're going to do is we'll record, let's say this particular insured paid $100 down payment. Once you tab over or move your cursor, you'll see that you'll have this box that will show up. And what this does is just show you exactly what is being paid. So there was a down payment of $100 due. There's also an agency fee that will be printed or that was collected. The total amount is $110. Now if this insured is not paying for that full amount, let's say they're only paying $50 worth, or let's say they're paying all but $50 worth, then you can indicate exactly what amount they owe to your agency. You can indicate a due date that that specific amount is due, and it tells you exactly what amount was actually received. So even though there was a total down payment due of $100 plus $10 agency fee for a total amount of $110, the actual amount that was received is $60. If this is not the case, then just leave it at 0 and indicate that the full amount was paid and received by your agency. Now if this payment was received, this down payment was received in a split payment, then you would indicate that in this section here. You can put in exactly what amount was paid by maybe check to the agency, maybe another amount was paid by credit card. You can also do that. All right, or you can just indicate here whether it was cash, check, or money order or credit card. Once you're done, you have the option of either printing a receipt for your customer or not printing it and just recording that information. All right, and so now you see here it says the premium down payment was $100 that was received, but the total amount received was $110 because it also includes the agency fee. All right, the next area that we'll look at is the next section, which is regards to any premium finance policies. So let's say if this account was a premium financed account, you can either have it financed through an outside financing company that takes care of, invoicing on the insured on a monthly basis for those payments, or it can be done through your agency, which would be like an agency bill type policy, which means that your agency would be responsible for invoicing that insured every time a payment is due, and making sure that that payment is applied and sent on to the insurance company. Now, if you do that, you would need to enter the number of payments. Let's say there's a number of payments of $400, or 4 payments, and maybe they're $200 each. You would indicate also when the first payment is due. So maybe it's due on the 1st of December. You can indicate who's processing this information. And the next section, you would indicate, now if this is again an account that is being financed through an outside finance company, then you would uncheck this box. But if your agency is the one that's actually financing this payment and is responsible for invoicing and collecting the payment, then you would want to leave this this area checked, or this box checked, because what it does is it'll automatically create a finance schedule based on the information that you entered here in the billing screen for the client. Once you're done, you can click on OK, and now it saves this information. All right. If we look in client billing, you'll see here the very top one is a finance schedule. It tells you the total amount that's due. If you double click on it, it gives you information as far as when those payments are due. Now it tells me my first payment is due on December 1st. My next payment is January, then February, and then March. Now these dates are incorrect. Let's say the first payment due December 1st, but let's say the next payment is due it's not due until maybe February. You can change those dates any way you need them to be changed. So the next one would be, let's say, March, and then we can put in the next date as in May. I can change that information at any point in time. So once I'm ready to bill this insured for the first payment, I can come up here to Invoices, and I can check on the first payment that is due. So this tells me here, I can uncheck all of these, and this tells me that I have a payment on December 1st. I can check that. So this is the information that I want to send on to the insured with my invoice. So there's my invoice. Now it automatically pre-fills this information. I can also change the description. So if I want to change this to maybe a monthly payment, I can do that. If I want to put in a note, I can also add a footnote here. I can change the remit to information to any. Let's say if I want it to be sent directly to the insurance company, I can choose that company or that lien holder or certificate holder. Wherever I am, I can choose it directly from here and change the remit to. And the same thing to send to. I can change that information as long as I have that in my Rolodex. If I don't have it in my Rolodex, I also have the option of adding it automatically from here. Just click on Add New, enter the information, and now you can, once you click on OK, it's saved in your Rolodex, and it will add it automatically to your invoice. Okay, you can cancel out of that. Once you're done, you have the option either print or you can close out. If you select print, you also have the option, of course, to print the email or print this invoice or email it directly to the insured. Again, you can have the option of choosing the Rolodex if it needs to be emailed to a different party. Okay. We can close out of this section. And that's basically how you would enter your finance schedule information. Now again, if your agency is not responsible for invoicing and collecting the payments, then this is not what you want to do. You just want to record that information in the policy in this section here on the lower right-hand side. All right, the next section that we're going to look at is endorsements, or the tabs at the bottom, actually. Of course, once you select policy, this will show you all the information that you have or all the policies that this customer has with my agency. Endorsements will let you view the history of or all the endorsements for this particular policy and for this particular customer. Now, if I needed to add an endorsement manually, all I need to do is go into Endorse on the ribbon. If you look here close to the right-hand side, click on Endorse. I can choose whether to endorse this manually or endorse this using a pro rata calculator. I can enter also an endorsement type, whether it's because this is maybe to add a vehicle, maybe I'm deleting a vehicle. Any information here, I can choose it automatically here. Okay. My next step would be to select whether or not I want to print an accord form at the end of this process. So I can choose a generic auto change form or print the accord auto change form, or I can choose not to print anything at this point in time. Click on Endorse and you get this endorsement box, and as you can see, what was changed will automatically be pre-filled depending on what I selected on the previous screen. Now, if the information on the previous screen is not the reason why you're processing the endorsement, then you don't have to check anything. You can simply just type it in manually in this section. Okay, maybe we're adding a youthful operator. Okay. Most of the policy information will pull directly from the policy screen. So the endorsement number is going to pull as the policy number. Binder number from the binder number section. If you don't want to include that information here, you can just simply delete that. Your endorsement date will automatically default to today's date, and of course you can change that information if you needed to. Business type also. This is just pulls from the policy screen. You can bypass the finance schedule if this is, again, if this is a premium finance company, you can indicate that, you can change that information. Otherwise, just bypass this altogether. Your next section is to enter, your next information is to enter the base premium information. If there's a change in premium, you could enter it directly here in the base premium section. So let's say with this adding youthful operator, there's an additional $200 premium that is due on the account. I can go ahead and indicate that in this section. Of course, it pulls the premium sent, which is how my commissions are paid to my agency, automatically over. My next step is to look at my commissions. So if I click on the box commissions, you'll see it automatically pre-filled this section here with whatever I have entered in my defaults in utilities for this specific insurance company. Now, if this is not the case, let's say for this youthful operator, this is not the case. It's not going to be based on I'm not going to get 10% commission. I have a choice. Now, if there's a rule that I've created in my utility section, I can apply that rule just for this endorsement. Okay, so maybe this is the youthful operator rule. I can add it directly here and say apply this rule. So now it reconfigures this information. Now, I will have to enter what portion of this endorsement applies to the youthful or to this change. So of course it's the full $200, so I can go ahead and enter that information, and now it recalculates my commission altogether. Okay, now if this is not the case and I need to delete that, and let's just say out of instead of being 10%, we're going to say it's 12%. Well, I can manually change that directly on this section, so I can reset this commission, and it would not affect my defaults or the information on the policy. It would just be specific to this endorsement. Click on OK, and there now it reconfigures my commission again, okay, or recalculates. Click on OK, and now that information is saved. And as you can see, this area is grayed out, so I cannot change this information directly on here. I will need to go back to my commission breakdown section for this endorsement if I need to make further changes. All right, once I'm done, I can simply click on OK. And there now I have my endorsement that's added. Now, if you're an agency, again, that are downloading this information with this particular insurance carrier, endorsements will calculate automatically for you. They'll be downloaded, saved in this section, and then it will change any information on the premium automatically for you, so you don't have to enter that information manually. This is only if the company that you're, adding to this customer's account does not download with you, or if you do not participate with carrier downloads, then you would need to enter or follow the process of manually endorsing the policy. And as you can see now under this endorsement section here in the middle under premium info, you'll see that there's an endorsement amount of $200, which then changed the total premium to $19.75. All right, the next area that we're going to look at is commission breakdown. And this also is where you can reset your commissions if they're incorrect. Now, we looked at endorsements before and how to apply rules. Same thing here. If this particular policy is subject to a specific rule that changes your commission structure, you can apply that rule directly here. Let's say again, we'll pick on the youthful operators once again. We'll apply this rule. Okay. Now the best thing I can explain about rules is that you will have to enter what portion of that rule applies to this commission. So we can go ahead and say out of this portion here, maybe $500 applies to this rule. Once you select that amount or enter that amount here, it does recalculate your commissions. So it calculates $700 or 10% with 10% commission, and then it calculates the $500 premium, which is subject or is applicable to the youthful operator, to 7% commissions. So that is your total commission amount on the lower right-hand side. So I can reset that automatically. And again, if the rule does not apply, you can simply delete that information. Now, if I needed to change this this percentage altogether, because maybe this is not subject to 10%, maybe it's 12, I can also highlight that area, change that amount, and move on, and now it resets it automatically. Okay. Now, if you're at a point where you have not entered your defaults and utilities as far as like agency commissions, and you'd like to create them now is a perfect time to do that, to go into utilities and enter that information. Once you do that, it will start calculating automatically your commissions to any policies that are entered going forward from the time that you create your defaults. However, it does not go back in time. So you will need to go back to your clients that have those policies and just simply click on Reset Commissions to have that automatically calculated. Okay. The last area that we're going to look at in this section is producers, and this is where you're going to add an agent with their commission information. So if you're going to be keeping track of your agents or producers' commissions, you'll definitely want to, or you definitely need to add them in this section. Now, a lot of times you can, you may have 2 producers on a policy. That can also be added. You can also add up to 3 producers to a policy to share that commissions. Now, again, you will need to set up their commission percentages in utilities so that it could automatically calculate them based on either the agency commission premiums or the insurance premium plus company fees. And what I mean by that is what you could do is as long as the agent of record or producer is listed on the client screen, which is this section here under miscellaneous, you will need to go to policies, go to the producer tab. You can add the agent from the client screen as the producer in this section. Okay, so in this case, I don't have anything set up for this particular agent. So let's say I have the option of changing the agent also. So in this case, maybe it's not Bob, maybe it's Liz. So I can go ahead and change that information. Now Liz gets 50% based on agency commission, what the agency makes. And in this case, all right, it's 50%. If I need to edit this information, I can do so here. So let's say if there's a second producer involved in this, I can also change her commission percentage here directly, and it recalculates it automatically based on the agency commission and what I've entered in this section. Okay, on the far right-hand side of this box, you'll see that there's a different area, and this is specific to any agency fees that this agent or producer may be eligible to get commissions on. So if that were the case and you had it automatically, set up in utilities, then it would automatically calculate that information for you here. Now, if you wanted to go in and manually add that information, you can also do that at any point in time. So once you've done that, once you've entered your information, just simply click on OK, and it will save that information here. So now I can see that the total commission due is $36, due to date is $30, and the paid to date and due now, well, paid to date, I haven't paid anything yet because I haven't reconciled it, and the due now is $30. So it tells me that this amount is due now. So if I need to reconcile, that's the amount that is due. Now, if I needed to add an additional producer, I can also do that. I can click on Add Producer on the lower right-hand side, and I can come in, choose my producer. So maybe we'll go back to Bob, and we'll put in that he gets the other 25%. Click on OK, and now it calculates that information automatically. All right, and that's basically how you can reset your commissions within QQEvolution's policy screen. Now, the last area that I'd like to show you has to do with bridging information from QQEvolution into different comparative raters. Now, if you'd like to bridge from QQEvolution into either FSC or EasyLinks, then you can do that automatically through this option here on the upper right-hand side, which indicates there's a red bridge here. If you click on it, you can see we have different companies that you can bridge to. In actuality, right now, EasyLinks and FSC are available to be bridged. You're eligible to bridge or automatically there to them. SEMCAT is currently in beta testing and will be available very shortly. So for you SEMCAT users, you will have the ability to transfer this information into SEMCAT for quoting purposes. All right, and for EasyLink also. Now, if you are an EasyLink customer, you will need to first contact EasyLink directly to have that QQEvolution bridge functionality enabled. Now, for our FSC customers, you will need to contact our product support department, and we can notify FSC for you. Now, you will need to have, when you call us, you will need to have your FSC customer number ready so that we can put that information once we contact FSC. But in order to, one important thing, in order to actually bridge over to EasyLink or FSC, you will need to make sure that your policy detail screen is completed. So you'll need to have this information in there, because what will happen is if you don't have any information in this section, all that it will bridge over into those raters is the client information, and then you'll have to fill in like the vehicle information if you're quoting auto. Also with the homeowner's policy, what you will need to do is make sure that you have the homeowner's application form completed in forms so that the information can be transferred, all that particular information pertaining to the homeowner's quoting process can be transferred over to those raters. So with that said, that pretty much ends our webinar for today. What I can do right now is just open it up for a few more minutes to questions and see if I can answer them for you. All right.